Assalamu alaikum. In my last monthly meeting with PIF members, I got a question about Dogecoin and whether I think the concentration of a large percentage of Dogecoins in the hands or wallets of a few holders is problematic and potentially exposes the coin to the threat of a rug pull. This video will be my answer to this question. Before I start, if you are new here, my name is Arkan Kayali, founder of Practical Islamic Finance, where we help people globally build wealth in a halal way. You can follow my crypto and stock portfolios by becoming a member. You can also follow us on social media, including joining our Discord group for free using the links in the description of this video. For members who follow my crypto portfolio, they know that I have a percentage of my portfolio in Dogecoin. One of the main criticisms of Dogecoin is that its token distribution is more centralized than would be desired in a coin that is often marketed as the people's coin. So you can see here the top wallet in terms of holdings of Dogecoin has around 23% of all the supply of Dogecoin. The top 16 wallets, so these two rows, have close to 48% of all the Dogecoin tokens. The top 100 plus wallets have roughly 65% of all Dogecoin tokens. So there is a high concentration of Dogecoin in a relatively few number of wallets. For a coin with value that is dependent on the trust of its holders, this can be especially worrisome. What if the big wallet owners just decide to sell all at once and tank the price? What if the controller of this wallet that has 23% of all existing supply just wakes up one day in a bad mood, upset with his wife, disappointed with his kids, cranky, his team lost last night, missed Fajr prayer, and just decides to dump all their holdings at once? This is, of course, assuming that the controller of this wallet is a person, not a company or exchange. It is unsettling to think that one wallet has this much power. Before I go any further, you may be wondering, hey, Practical Islamic Finance, or Salam, Practical Islamic Finance, is investing in something that doesn't have intrinsic value like Dogecoin even halal to do to start with? To this, I would say fundamentally, holding Dogecoin is no different than holding any other form of currency. You either hold it as a currency that is to use as a medium of exchange when there isn't a coincidence of needs that can be bartered between you and the seller, or you hold it as a store of value. In other words, you think you will be able to trade it later for more than what you can get for it in today's market. Put differently, it's not true that Dogecoin is valueless. It has utility, albeit limited. And to verify this, you need to only go to Tesla's merchandise shop to see items that you can buy using Dogecoin. In fact, I would argue that I have more trust in the utility of Dogecoin than I do the utility of many government issued currencies, such as the Argentine peso, with an average inflation rate of 35%. At least Dogecoin has an inflation rate that is less than 5% and decreases every year, which is dictated by the code that controls its supply and not some central bank with a myriad of motivations. Okay, now back to Dogecoin's concentration and the risks that this poses. You may have heard of the term rug pull. Last October, a rug pull devastated investors eager to make money from a cryptocurrency token called Squid, named after the popular Netflix show Squid Game. The tokens took less than 5 minutes before the value rapidly plummeted to less than $1 as the developers embezzled almost 3.4 million from their investors. So, can this happen with Dogecoin? First, let's understand what happens in a rug pull. A rug pull is a type of scam in the cryptocurrency industry where crypto developers dump all their holdings, draining out the liquidity for a token and disappearing with their investors' money. This can happen when the holdings of just a few holders exceeds the amount of liquidity that is available for the coin. And don't worry, I'm going to explain these terms. Let's say I have one Squid token. Since the token has no practical applications, it is worthless unless there is a place for me to exchange it for some other token. These places where you can exchange a token for another use something called liquidity pools. Liquidity pools are basically just a pot of cryptocurrencies which are used for exchanges. So, going back to our example, I have one squid token that I want to sell. And now let's assume the liquidity pool for squid tokens only holds one Ethereum token. This means that the most I'll ever be able to exchange my one squid token for is one Ethereum token. Now let's assume someone, let's call him Shaitan, creates a token, let's call it squid token, and starts promoting and advertising all of the things that he wants to do with squid token, all of the things that he's going to build. And he ends up selling 5 of the squid tokens that he created to 5 different people. And he holds on to 5 squid tokens for himself. Now, these 5 people that he sold squid tokens to, in return for the squid tokens they got, they deposited 1 Ethereum into the liquidity pool where squid tokens are to be exchanged. So Shaitan actually never had any intention of working on Squid Token or developing it or making any applications for it. What he does is, now that the liquidity pool for Squid Tokens has 5 Ethereum in it, he takes the 5 Squid Tokens he has and exchanges them for the 5 Ethereum tokens in the liquidity pool, empties it out basically, and the 5 people that he sold squid tokens to now have coins that they can't exchange for anything. And there's no one working on developing anything for these coins, and they are basically now worthless. This is basically what a rug pull is. Now, from this example, we conclude that it's not necessarily the amount of concentrated ownership that poses a risk. Rather, the ratio of this concentrated ownership's market value in comparison to the available liquidity is what we must keep an eye on. The higher the ratio of concentrated ownership to available liquidity, the more possible a rug pull becomes. Additionally, it's much more dangerous if this concentrated ownership is in the hands of the developers of the project or the founding team members who may just lose interest in the project and decide to trade whatever coins they have for whatever liquidity is available because they know this coin is going nowhere. So, to really get a handle on the risk of a rug pull for Dogecoin, we need to see what the available liquidity for Dogecoin is. And I went to CoinMarketCap and I could find 365 different token and exchange pairs where you can trade your Dogecoin. There is also an ever increasing list of products and services which you can use your Dogecoin to purchase. Compare this with Squid Token, which was only available through one liquidity pool between Binance Smart Chain native token BNB and the Squid Token, which basically meant that all of the money getting spent on Squid tokens was together in one pool. So it was pretty easy to quantify the liquidity of the Squid token since it was all in one place. And at the time of the rug pull, we know the available liquidity was around $3.4 million because this is what the developers made off with. However, given more than 365 different places and token combinations where you can exchange your Dogecoin, quantifying Dogecoin's liquidity is extremely difficult. What we can do, however, is look at the volume of Dogecoin being traded in a day and see what impact this volume has on price and use it as a rough proxy for liquidity. In a 24-hour period, there is typically close to $800 million worth of Dogecoin that is traded, or around 4 to 5% of total supply based on current market cap. This means it takes 25 days for the equivalent of the entire supply of Dogecoin to be traded. So if all the top 100 Dogecoin wallets decided to sell in a 25-day period, they would generate around half the normal amount of trade volume that Dogecoin has. This suggests to me that while such a move would definitely move the price lower, it would not devastate the price of Dogecoin entirely, as the liquidity environment of Dogecoin is such that a spike in trading can be absorbed with not much price movement. Additionally, and perhaps more importantly, the holders of these wallets are not the developers of Dogecoin. So, as someone who holds Dogecoin, you want to offload your position in a way that doesn't affect price negatively so that you can get the highest price for your holdings. You're not going to do it in a way that overwhelms available liquidity because you'll start selling your tokens for less and less as the price drops. So you're going to want to space out your sales over a long enough period so as not to cause the price to drop and maximize the sale price available to you. What happens with rug pulls is that the whales are typically the founding team members of the crypto, and these members have no intention of working on the crypto, so they know that the coin's value will eventually drop to zero once people realize this. So they use the coins they have, which they know have no prospects because they aren't going to build anything, and they dump them fast enough to pick up all the available liquidity before anyone realizes that they've lost interest or never had any interest in the project in the first place. With Dogecoin, development has been going on for a long time, and you can see this development by going to their GitHub repository, which is where the code lives. Also, the developers of Dogecoin are well known, whereas they tend to be anonymous in projects that end with a rug pull. There's also no evidence that the developers of Dogecoin are actually associated with these whale accounts, and in all likelihood, these whale accounts are actually cryptocurrency exchanges like Robinhood. I don't think a rug pull is in the cards for Dogecoin. I actually think if these whale accounts sold their tokens, it would be a positive for Dogecoin, as it would actually increase decentralization, even if it caused a short-term drop in price. In fact, Elon Musk, a prominent proponent of Dogecoin, offered an incentive for these whale wallets to do just that not too long ago in order to resolve what he thought, and many others think, was the one real issue with Dogecoin. It's worth mentioning here that another currency struggling with concentration is the US dollar, where estimates suggest the top 1% of Americans have about 16 times more wealth than the bottom 50%. So I hope you found this answer to the question, will Dogecoin be rug pulled, at least thought provoking. Don't forget to become a member of PIF to follow my crypto and stock portfolios. Link to do that is in the description of this video. I'd really appreciate if you enjoyed this video or found it beneficial to leave a like and subscribe so we can see each other more often. Until next time, make sure to take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum and peace be upon you all.